Satnam, Satnamji. Hello, yogis and yoginis. Hello, everyone. Welcome. One more stream. We're going to go today into a topic which is how we have ideas. We have things that we want to do in our lives and we want to manifest them. And somehow, for a reason or another, they just don't happen. We don't get them done. And why are we getting stuck? And how can we stack ourselves? This is the topic for today. Saddam Sohail, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to have you here for the topic of today. Welcome to the stream. So we're carrying on with the number 7. Today we're going to bring more numbers. As I mentioned, as we are coming to the end of number 7, we're going to start introducing more numbers. And as we go into number 5, then there's going to be numbers. But we have been dealing with the mind a lot. We have been exploring many aspects of the mind by itself without trying to add any numbers, just to clear out what the mind thinks. And then now we can approach numbers more clearly. Satnam Infinity, is good to see you here as well. Namaste. Good to see you. So, thoughts into action. We're going to explore that in detail. Let's start by identifying the numbers which are related to the words thought into action. We're going to start with that. Feel free to ask anything if you are online or contribute in any way. We saw this some time ago, and we're going to go here today. We're going to go exploring this. But before we go into that, let's just say 7 is thoughts, 7 is mind, 7 is what we think we want to do. And sorry, just get my mouse out of the way. And then number 5 is linked to the 5th chakra, which is words. It's fine. Thank you, Sohail. 5 is words. So when we have an idea, we want to do something, and we tell someone, I'm going to start going to the gym, or I'm going to go start going to regular walks in nature. Something like that. We say something to someone. That's our words. That's number 3. And 3, we link it to the 3rd chakra, being the navel, and the navel is the point that is moving us forward. Ek Onkar, the 3rd aspect, kar being creation, and vehicle, a car is a vehicle. So this is the vehicle for our creation in the world, what we create in the world. Infinity says, it's a good way to explore how sound and words are manifestation are related. Yes, very good. So yeah, sound, words, manifestation, and words coming from the thoughts, into sound that we say out loud and how they manifest into the real world. And hold on, this is a little bit red. Let me just move a little bit the tint. Okay, so these 3 things, these 3 levels, we can see them also when we are exploring what is karma. When we talk about karma, we always say there is 3 levels of karma: what we think, what we say, and what we do. So you may think badly about someone or think nice things about someone, and someone thinks nice things about you. You can say bad things about someone, and somebody says bad things about you. Or you can do bad things to someone and somebody does bad things to you. Or you do good things to someone, someone does good things to you. This is like a very basic description of the 3 levels of karma. Now, if you look at it from this perspective, this is thought, these are words, and these are actions. So these are the 3 levels in which karma operates. And so let me just write here: thoughts, words, and actions. And the thing is, we want to do this. We want to move from thoughts to words and to actions. And for some things, this happens naturally. We don't have to think too much about it. But for other things, this just doesn't happen. So let me give you a few examples. Sometimes we think something negative about ourselves, and we act upon that thought even before being too conscious about it. So we have a negative thought about ourselves, and then we do some action which is not good for us, but this is like a habit that we create against ourselves. And now, between this 7 and this 3, there is no consciousness. Consciousness is the realm of the 6 and the 4. So here, so these two numbers here, this is consciousness, 4 and 6. We are associated to the heart, and the heart is linked to consciousness, breathing, consciously breathing. So that's the 4th chakra, and number 6, that's the intuition and the perception of something extraordinary. That's the 3rd eye. So that's linked to consciousness. So we have a thought that comes from the subconscious, meaning not conscious. There is no 6 and 4 here, so there is no filter. 5 should be the filter on whether we are doing an action or not. And we act upon the thought without thinking. And we do this very, very often with subconscious patterns of behavior and thoughts. Somebody says something nasty to us, and we react, and we get angry, and we say bad things to them or do bad things. There is no filter. There is no point crossing here in between. Now that's interesting. But now today we're gonna take this very same mechanism. What happens if we have a thought that we actually want to put it into practice? Like, I want to start going to the gym, for example, right? So we have a thought. We can even say to someone, I'm going to start going to the gym. And then nothing happens. Why is that not happening? And what should we do to check? How can we do things to make it manifest, make it reality? Well, first of all, these 6 and these 4, they are not just about consciousness. 6 is the link to the 6th chakra, the 3rd eye, which is aware of what is to come. Yeah, this is the link to destiny. So when we see something that may be coming in our path and we are not sure what this is about, we experience fear. So in this place, it doesn't have to be, but this is very common. The 2 blockages in the path are fears, linked to a perception of something that may be coming in the path to us, and we are not sure what's going to happen about that. So we are afraid of what is to come. Yeah. So if I start going to the gym, what's going to happen? And the thing is, on a conscious level, we think about nice things. We think of, if I go to the gym, I will get in good shape and I will be more healthy and so on and so forth. But on a subconscious level, there is all sorts of fears happening. So if I say I'm going to go to the gym, maybe I'm self-conscious about my image. Maybe I don't like the way my body is, or I don't have any clothing that will suit me to go into the gym. What happens when I go there and I don't know how to operate the machines? What happens when I go into the changing room and somebody there looks at me funny? So the brain starts generating all sorts of fantasies that are feeding our fears. They are feeding fears of what could happen that I wouldn't know how to deal with. And so out of these fears, then we don't move into the path. That's the 6. And the 4 is linked to the heart. The heart is linked to Satnam. Yeah, Ek Onkar Satanam. The Mul Mantra we were exploring in another video, in another course actually. Ek Onkar Satnam. Satnam is true reality, the truth, and this is my identity, who I identify with. Well, my heart and my identity and the truth, this is what makes us trust things. That this is where we put our trust. Our trust is somebody that you feel that you can open your heart to. Yeah, you can open your heart to somebody that you trust. You don't open your heart to somebody that you don't trust. So trust is linked to the heart. It's not linked to the mind. It's linked to the heart. So If you trust someone, you open yourself. If you distrust someone, you close your heart. If somebody betrays your trust, we say that we feel like somebody stabbed me in the back between the shoulder blades. So that's the heart. So trust is linked to number 4. Distrust, or when you don't trust yourself, that's also linked to number 4. So doubts. When we are not sure, because 4 is about commitment. If you remember, when we were doing the 7 steps to heaven, we talked about how all we have to do is the first step, which is commit. And then keep committing, and then we are moving forward through the 7 steps. Well, to commit, you have to put your heart in it, let's say. Put your heart wholeheartedly commit to do it. That's consciously make that commitment, make that choice. So 4 is the heart, is the commitment, is the conscious, is the choice. All those things are number 4. However, when we are facing the choice that we have to do, we have a number of options, and we don't know what to choose, then that's when we enter into doubt. Then our heart closes. Yeah? So this would be a heart opening, or it can be heart closing. So these are the 2 elements that are closing our hearts, yeah, to committing to actually manifesting the action. These are the 2 obstacles. But to overcome this, we need to do more things. We need to check what is beyond this area here. We have to go farther up towards the 9 and farther down towards the 1. So let us do that. Let's say when I have a consultation and somebody tells me, look, I would like you to help me manifest something in my life. I've been trying to do this thing. I'm changing myself. I want to change my diet, or some particular addiction that I may have, or some other situation that is unhealthy to me. I want to change it. I want to do this. No? And they are telling me a thought that they want to bring into action. Well, my first job, if I was a coach, I would just, if this was coaching, I would just, okay, let's set up a plan. How can we approach it? How are we going to attack the situation to get to where you want to get, right? ABC Lyrics says, I want to quit smoking. Yeah, that's an excellent example. Yeah, I want to quit smoking. All right, well, that's a thought. Well, if this was a coaching, we would just say, okay, the objective, we want to get to an action, which is stop smoking, and then let's make a plan to make it happen. But in a consultation, when I'm facing somebody who is telling me something like, I want to quit smoking, it initially seems very healthy, and it's probably a healthy place that it comes from, but I have to check. Where is the idea coming from? Where is the willingness to do something coming from? Now, we talk about thoughts as number 7, but thoughts come from somewhere else. Comes from a number 9. And number 9 is the number of seed ideas. 1 and 9, you may remember those 1 and 9 are connected. Those numbers which are like that are connected. 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6. So 1 and 9 is the smallest thing, and many things. This is connected to seeds. 1 is the earth. If you think about the elements, first chakra is earth, that's first element is earth. In the earth you plant the seeds. So I have a seed idea, an idea of quitting smoking. Yeah, that seed idea, where is that coming from? Well, it turns out that when we are exploring the source of these ideas, which are very subtle, you see it goes into the 9. The number 9 is the highest number, so it's very subtle. These ideas come from up here, we don't know very well where. We can even draw it in the body. We could do it like this, you see. It will be more clear when I draw it. This is the classic yogi I always draw. Now, seed idea, this is the 7th chakra. The 8 is here. The 9 is up here. So it's like an idea has fallen. And yeah, that's the 9, the 8. You could draw it like the symbol of the infinite. And then it comes into the 7. And the 7, as you will remember from the last video we did, the 7 can be in front of you or it can be behind. And in front of you, it's an obstacle, a place where we project all the expectations and the fantasies. If it's behind, it can give you support. So that's 7. Is it going to be in front? It's almost like stabbing you in the heart, right? Or is it going to be behind? If it's behind, I'm going to put it softer color, more like orangish. And then it's something that you can lean on. You can lean back. So this original idea, this is where we're going. Where is this idea coming from? Well, the 9 is what we call the demon or the diamond, the master or the monster. So when you have an idea to do something, that can be coming from the demon side, the crystallized aspect of the highest purity that you can get to. The diamond is like the most pure crystal, yeah? The crystallized version of your ideal. It could come from there. So this could be like a shining crystal, like a shining diamond, yeah? I'm going to put a little diamond here. It looks more like an ice cream, but never mind. I wanted to do a diamond, I promise. It looks kind of like an ice cream. That's probably my subconscious. ABC Lyrics says, thoughts, fears, and doubts can strengthen the ego and make doing something much harder for me. Yes. That's excellent. Okay, so you are already identifying one of the problems, which is that these thoughts, the fears and the doubts are not only stopping me from manifesting something that I want in my life, but they are also reinforcing things that I don't want to do in my life. So the karmic actions come out of these fears and these doubts. But the thing is, even apparently healthy ideas may come from a demon rather than from a diamond. So for example, I've seen people meditating or doing their practice in the morning, because if they don't do it, they feel guilty. Well, that's not the best place for you to start doing things, because if you are just doing it not to feel guilty, guilty is a mind game. So you are operating out of a mind game for fear of being guilty, right? There's this fear of being guilty, of feeling guilty. What happens if I don't meditate, if I don't do my yoga in the morning and then I go teach a class? Let's say you're a yoga teacher, right? That's the kind of people I surround myself with. So you are going to teach a yoga class and you haven't done your yoga in the morning, and then some student will ask you something, and then you will be afraid of being confronted because you didn't do your practice. So you do your practice just to avoid that kind of situation. Well, if you do that, that practice is coming from the ego. That practice is coming from fear. It's coming from guilt, from feeling inappropriate, from feeling that if you don't do it, you are a fake, a false. That's probably not the best place to do something, right? Somebody may want to, I don't know, I want to get an electric car. Okay, you want to buy an electric car. All right. Why do you want to do that? Where is that coming from? Maybe you have a willingness, you have good sun in your place where you live, and you can You can feel that it's your small contribution to the planet, then okay, fine. If it's because my friends are making me feel guilty every time they tell me about my car polluting the environment, and I don't want, again, we come into this guilt idea and a fear, and well, that's probably not the best idea. Yeah. Infinity says, their source is dual, as you said. If one is unconscious, they come from samskaras and karmas, correct? However, when one is conscious, they come from the present, is response rather than reaction. Correct. So the idea is, when we get to the three, it can be, this action can be a reaction or it can be a response. It's good. Okay. So, but that's the result, yeah? Reaction, or it can be a response. A conscious response or a reaction. And if it comes from the subconscious, then it's a reaction. And it generates more karma. And the karma is going to come back and it's going to seed more ideas, meaning samskaras. Yeah, samskaras means seeds of karma. So that's going to be seeding more samskaras. I did a video on the course on the mind that was the life cycle of a thought. If you haven't watched that one, today's diagram is going to look very familiar, and many of the things we are saying will make a lot of sense, particularly Infinity's comment on the idea that when we do an action from the subconscious, that action is karmic, it's a reaction, and the karma is going to come back. So it's going to be feeding back to these wrong ideas. Yeah, you deserve more subscribers. All right, thank you. Why you know? Let's see that idea to the universe. Yeah. So if you are acting from consciousness. Now, hold on, Infinity, because there's one thing in your comment that is not absolutely. However, when one is conscious, they come from the present and it's a response. Well, you can consciously still create karma. Okay, so when you act from the subconscious, the tendency is karmic, and when you act from the conscious, the tendency is less karmic. But consciously, we make a lot of mistakes, or let's say we say many things that later we regret having said, or that we feel that we could have done it in a different way. So just because we have consciousness, there's no guarantee that this is dharmic. Okay, so consciousness is the first step to change something, but then you still have to make it dharmic. Yeah. So whatever the idea is, I want to quit smoking, was saying ABC Lyrics. Well, that sounds pretty much from the diamond, but we would have to check, where is that coming from? Well, maybe I spend too much money in cigarettes, I feel my health deteriorating, my lung capacity is worsening, I want to lead a more healthy life, I don't want to put toxic things in my body. Why do? Everything sounds very aligned, everything sounds healthy, everything sounds very dharmic. If I want to quit smoking because my wife or my husband can't stop bugging me about it, and or because my kids, I'm giving a bad example to them, and I feel bad that they are seeing this and they're going to copy it from me, that sounds like fear. Fear of what your kids are going to do with it, or fear of what the people around you are going to say about you, or fear that others are going to see me in a negative way. Maybe it's because I smell bad. When I smoke, I smell and I think people don't like that smell. So that sounds also like fear and doubts. It doesn't sound very much like, because I want to lead a healthier life. So you see, every thought that we want to manifest has an idea behind, and we need to check is it demon or is it diamond? And most of the time it will be a mixture. It's going to be a little bit of both. That's very, very common. Yeah, I do yoga because I want to be well, but also because I feel a little bit guilty if I haven't done it. Well, okay, keep doing it, but let's talk about the guilt. Yeah, so we should explore both aspects, demon and diamond, and through a conversation, refine the inner talk, right? So what's coming here regarding the ideas, so that we can purify those thoughts which are related to the demon and cut it out. So we can already remove that part. Infinity says, 100% it can create karma, however, it didn't come from karma. What do you think? Yes, that's right. So if I do a I guess you are talking about conscious action, yeah? So I can consciously create karma, but the conscious choice doesn't necessarily have to come from karma. While if it's a subconscious thought, that's already coming from what is stored in the subconscious, which is linked to the samskaras, which is karma, if that makes sense. I hope everybody's following, because we are kind of having a conversation in the middle of this, but this is, what I mean is that I'm cutting the conversation that we are having, but this is the idea that if it comes from the subconscious, it's linked to the samskaras, to the levels of consciousness. In the subconscious layer is the samskaras, and so what's coming from there, it's already karmic by itself. If we operate from the conscious, it doesn't have to be karmic necessarily, but then what do you choose? What do you do? And that can create karma. ABC Lyric says, 2 months ago, I was completely unaware and deeply in ego. Last month, I went through a deep awakening. Ideas since then have been all about cleaning the body, but the ego sometimes comes back. All right, great. Well, congratulations for making a big jump. In yoga, we say, twice lost, twice found. Twice lost, twice found. Sometimes when we are little, we are happy, but we don't know we are happy. And then we lose that happiness somewhere as we develop the ego. Then at some point we find something beyond the ego, something possibly spiritual, and then we find happiness again. But because we didn't know that we were gonna get happiness, we didn't really know how we got to the happiness. And so it's easy to lose it again. And then the next time you find back that happiness, you know what you are getting to, where you are going to, and you can, let's say, reclaim it. So twice lost, twice found. We lose ourselves. And it's even necessary to lose ourselves. The ego has to be developed. We have to go into the world, into Maya, and get lost in Maya to come back with consciousness. The child does not know it's happy. The child is happy but doesn't know it's happy. The child has innocence but it doesn't know it's innocent. We have, in a way, to lose that innocence and to develop our ego to then figure out that that's not what we want, to lose that innocence, and we want to reclaim that innocence and do the path coming back. So since the last month you've been going through this awakening and you are kind of going back to what is purity, which is going to be linked to happiness as well, and that's going to be cleaning the body, cleaning the emotions, cleaning the mind, connecting to the spirit. So there is these different levels, and then we have, it's like awakening. Yeah, it's like, whoa, all this is happening at the same time. And sometimes we get that with a very, very strong impulse, and we start doing a lot of things. And this is what we want to do here. We want to explore. I have an idea. I want to be cleaning my body, like stopping smoking, and other ideas of what it means to be having more healthy life, and then how to make them manifest. So we're gonna keep doing this. So let's go back to this idea of the 9 demon or diamond. We have the idea where it comes from, and we have to explore. Is it from the demon? Is it from the diamond? If it's from the demon, whatever aspect is from the demon, let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Let's get rid of it. Let's not entertain that, because then whatever success you get out of this will be mixed as well. Part of the success will be mixed with fear of whatever other people are going to say about me or what they are going to think about me. So we don't want to operate from there. If you want to quit smoking for yourself, purely from a healthy perspective, because that's what you want, because that's good for you. That's it. No other fear or doubt behind, or even any other mental game. So What I do in a consultation generally is I'm listening to the person who is saying that they want to do some change, and then as they are talking, I pay very close attention to the words they are saying. If I detect any of the mind games that we have been exploring so much in this course, if I detect any of those, that's a little bit of the voice of the demon. And then I'll take it and I will reflect it back, and then we will talk about it until it's cleared out. And then through the process of clearing out all this, and that clearing out, this is the 8, by the way. Yeah, we're talking about it. That's the 5. That's when we are like talking to somebody else. So we are, let's say, this is one person, and now I'm on the other side, 5 to 7 to 9, and we are talking one in front of the other, yeah? And the person is telling me, well, this is the idea I'm having, this is what I want to do. So they are thinking something, they are saying something, and then I ask questions, which is going to reflect back to their mind, and they're going to check where the idea is coming from. And through this process, we are cleaning out anything that is coming from the monster. Yeah. The monster or the master, the demon or the diamond. So we want to clean it out. This cleanliness, that's the 8. 8 is, and it can be like, it looks like an infinite process, yeah? It's like many times around we have to go through this cleansing. 2 and 8 are together, they add 10, those numbers which add 10 are connected. Second chakra is water, so the 2 and the 8 are water, and the water is the element that cleanses, that's cleaning. So I have an idea. If I don't consciously cleanse it, then this is also the prana. The number 8 is also prana. So it's going to be giving energy to this idea. If we haven't purified it, that energy is going to come down charged with energy. The 8th spiritual body in yoga, we call it the pranic body. So there is this infinite prana out here, up in the ether. Sometimes we do in yoga this position with the thumbs up. We stretch the arms like this. Let me demonstrate it. And then we are pumping the navel and breathing strongly while we do this, breath of fire. And this is kind of like plugging yourself into the socket. Is like plugging into the current of energy of prana that is coming down into you. It's called ego eradicator, this posture, which is quite interesting. You can almost see the 7s as well, right? 7 in front, 7 behind, putting it behind, cleaning the ego. But at the same time, it's giving you a lot of energy. So that idea, that seed, whatever it was coming from, now is going to be charged with prana. So this is a good place to cut it. We talk about this also in the other video with the 7, whether we should take something or let it go. Yeah, I was making this idea that what to do with the mind games. Well, just let them go. Don't hold on to them. Yeah, we keep them in our hands so strongly. Just let it go. Well, that's this process here. So if the idea is not suitable, it's not good for us, there's some part of it which is unhealthy, just let it go right here. Give it to the universe and just let it dissolve into that water, that ocean of the universe, the infinite. If it's the right idea, if it's the right seed that we want to manifest, all right, now we let it in. And as it goes in, charged with the prana, now it comes into the 7. Now we think about it. And as we think about it, again, we have the 2 7s. Am I going to start projecting expectations and fantasies on the future? Well, no, let's just put the 7 behind. The idea has an origin and is dharmic. That's what we have determined. Okay, I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to give it prana, but I'm going to put expectations behind, and I'm just going to let it happen, whatever it has to happen within me. So I just let it fall into the heart. Yeah. ABC says, my mind says that I should clean the body step by step. It says I should quit smoking gradually. Is that a mind game and I should quit immediately, or should I listen to the mind? Well, it's not about whether you should do one or you should do the other. It's about what do you feel ready to do. And if you tell me, I feel ready to quit absolutely, then I will say, why you do? If you say, I feel that I need to quit slowly, I will say, why you do? There is no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Only you can tell whether you are ready to do one or the other. And there's nothing wrong about any of those, about either of those. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. There's just your own way to do it. And at the end of the day, you have to choose what you commit to. Satnam Jong, hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about manifesting ideas into reality. So, ABC, if you want to quit smoking, you may decide that you want to do it slowly, and you are in absolutely your right to do it any way you want. If you want to quit all at once, then it's fine. You can also do it in any way you want. Just one little tip that we use in yoga is do something that you feel ready for and get ready yourself for that. Because if you decide to do something and then whatever you set up yourself to accomplish, if it's broken, if you don't do it, you're going to feel bad. And then, sometimes we commit to something, but we were too early to commit into that, and you felt inspired in the moment, and you said, yeah, I'm going to do it. But then when you start doing it, you feel it's too big for you, and then you have to stop. Then the feeling of failure, and it's really strong. And it may make it even harder for the next time you want to do it. So it's healthy to find, am I ready to do that? Am I right at the point? And you know what? Maybe after today's conversation, and we will explore what makes you be ready. We will explore what has to happen here for the action to be the one that has the optimum possibility for success. Let's say optimum outcome. Yeah. So after the conversation, we will check again, and you will check with yourself if you are ready to do it one way or another. But initially, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just figure it out. For example, people want to be vegetarians, right? And they may do it for health reasons, they may do it for morality reasons, or they may do it for guilt because their friends are vegetarian and maybe they don't want to be the one left out, or because they are telling them nasty things about what they are doing, and morally they feel like they should care about the animals even though they are afraid because they don't know how to be vegetarians. Well, you can imagine how becoming a vegetarian is one of these ideas that is going to be very conflicted. It's going to be having a mixture of demon and daimon, and before we actually even go and become a vegetarian, we should deal with this first of all. And then after going through the whole process and we decide to be a vegetarian, we should still check what does it mean to be a vegetarian, because you may jump straight away and remove the meat and the fish from the diet and then be unhealthy because you didn't give yourself a proper balance of nutrients in your body, and then maybe you feel like very low energy, and maybe there is a hole in your diet that is going to cause all sorts of problems, and then you're going to feel that you regret having gone all cold turkey into vegetarianism, if we can say that about turkeys and vegetarians. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to stop eating meat altogether, and then you regret, maybe you need to do gradually, slowly going into that. Or not. Or maybe you have studied what diet is, you studied everything that is to study, you check all these YouTube videos that you wanted to check, you consulted to an expert, and you have an idea, you have a plan, and you are fed up with eating meat, and you want to be a vegetarian, and it's coming from the diamond, and you say like, today is the last day. No, yesterday was the last day. No more. Yeah, from today on, I'm a vegetarian. And then you do the change drastically. And you do it and you never come back and you never look back. So, but what makes it so that that's successful and not after a month you feel sick and you have to start eating meat again. So we have to be very real with ourselves. That's why checking the reality, Satnam, this is the heart. This is the reality check. This green is the reality check. That's why when somebody is telling you an idea that what they are going to do, and they are opening their hearts to you, and you are in front, you do the reality check, and you are asking them questions, which is making them speak, and that's going to make them reflect, meaning thinking about where it comes from, meaning the idea, and reality check, where is the idea coming from? And depending on where the idea comes from, it's going to determine whether the action is going to be successful or not. And still, what does success mean? Because you can do something that you commit to doing something, and you do it from your ego, right? I want to stop smoking. I want to stop smoking because I want to demonstrate to my father that I can do it. He said I cannot do it. I'm going to do it. And you demonstrate with the power of ego that you can remove the smoking, and you can do it. But then your ego gets really strong from demonstrating everybody, I did it. Well, is that healthy? Okay, at least your lungs are healthier, but look at your head now. So you see, there's always both sides of the coin. Always. There's paradoxes everywhere. Let's see, I have a few messages. Infinity says, where do you place desires and identity in this cycle? Doesn't also depend on what one is identified with the body, thoughts, emotions, or any persona. Yes, very, very good. We'll go into that in a moment. Let's see, ABC says, that's exactly what happened with me with alcohol. I stopped and never came back. Exactly. So maybe you are ready. And if so, you will know. After we complete the path, you will maybe have an idea, a sense of whether you are ready to stop it completely or not. Particularly if you have already stopped an addiction like alcohol. Well, I don't know if it was an addiction or not, but maybe it was just occasionally. But whenever we break an addiction and then we are going to face another one, we have the telltales. We have the signs that tell me whether I'm ready to do it or not. Now, here comes the other interesting thing that Infinity is pointing to. It's identity, right? I was giving the example of the vegetarian, and I say, I'm going to stop from today. No, from yesterday. Today on, no more. I am a vegetarian. When I said that, did you notice I said, I am a vegetarian? I didn't say, I'm going to eat vegetarian. I said, I am a vegetarian. That's an identity. That's something that you identify with. So it was an addiction. Yeah. It's a common one as well. Identity, this is fundamental as well, because we are talking about actions. Any repetitive action that we do more than 3 times becomes a pattern. And any pattern action may become an addiction as well. But an action that is repeated over time, done enough time, 40, 90, 120 days, that becomes part of your identity. So if you do something for 120 days straight without stopping, you can confirm that that is who you are. So I said about the alcohol because, somebody may drink a glass of alcohol with their friends on Thursday night when they go out with friends. And then they spend a whole week without drinking. That's not necessarily an alcoholic. Alcoholic is one that drinks every night before going to bed because otherwise they cannot fall asleep. It's a sedation process. Well, the moment that you do it every day, then you are the kind of person who does that. So you are an alcoholic. It's not about I drink alcohol, I am an alcoholic. Same with yoga. You can say I do yoga, or you can say I am a yogi. Right? I meditate, or I am a meditator. So there is a difference in identity, and that will come with a continuous repetition of the action, whether it's karmic or dharmic. John Dubb says 12-step programs are very good for the physical addiction, whatsoever it may be. Yes, yeah, that's right. It's come down to a science already, and I believe the 12 steps are very much supported by spiritual as well, very often Christian, but it can be other faiths as well. But I believe It has a lot of spiritual background behind as well to give you support, as far as I know. There may be others that are not linked to any religion, but I think there has to be something spiritual. Because if you want to change something from the body, where does the strength to change that come from? Well, let's explore this. This is the physical body, yeah, from physical, body to the actions that you do in the world, and this is the most physical part. If you want to change this, if you want to change what's here, where is the change coming from? Is it coming from your mind, or is it coming from the spirit? So if you are just doing the change out of the power of your own mind, when we say mind, we know mind is linked to the ego, then it's the ego controlling the process. And so this is why if you just utilize the power of your mind, it is very common that somebody may stop a particular addiction, and a few months later, a few years later, a situation, a moment in life when the mind is weaker, and we regress to the old pattern, and we come back to the addiction. So there's a word for that. Relapse? I think it's called relapse. If the strength comes from the mind. How about, what I'm going to suggest is, don't let the strength come from the mind. Don't let it be coming from the thoughts. This is where we came from. This is what we started. And I'm saying, no, don't go higher. Because these seed ideas, seed, 1 and 9, 1, the number 1 is the number of the soul. And number 9 is the number of the spirit. So this idea is coming from the spirit. There's somebody ringing my door, but I'm not expecting anyone, so I'll just... All right, I got a little bit disconcentrated from running down and up the stairs to get the package. So, where are we? We check where the idea is coming from. We made sure that it was coming from the spirit, yeah, from the master, from the diamond. Now we purify whatever is not from there. We put a 7 behind. And now, intuitively, we have fears. This is fear or faith. Fears or faith. Doubts or trust. These are the two sides. So, we have received the sign that this is the direction. We have an intuition that this is going to be good for us. And we let it come with faith. We let it happen. We speak about it. We say it out loud. We say to somebody, it's useful when you want to do a change to talk to somebody and to tell them, I'm going to do this with my life. And sometimes the fact that you are saying it out loud, it's already helping you figure out if you are fully ready to do it. Sometimes we are not sure about which changes do we want to do in our life until we can say them out loud to some friend of us and say, look, this is what I'm going to do. And then you are committing. It's a level of commitment. Already saying it out loud, it's like crossing the 5 into the 4 and committing already and putting your trust that you have what you need to go and start doing whatever you have to do. And then the result should be the action. However, I mentioned, what happens to the 1? Yeah? Where is the 1 here? Which in a way is like saying, what is the soul? Well, to explore this, to understand this, we're going to use this little, I don't know if I would call it a diagram. We call it the grid of 9, 3 by 3. Let's do this. So, what we want to do initially, we have a thought and we want to bring it into action. Now, let's say that we have already checked what is the seed idea behind that thought. Well, the path that we need to take in order to make sure that it's dharmic and that we are going to carry on and we're going to stay with it, we're not going to drop it very, very quickly, is actually this other path. 7 for 1, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go slowly. I'm going to explain what is every step. But first of all, let us remember 7 for 1 is the internal. So the very first steps is something that is going to happen internally. And as we come down into the heart, we did this path already. Yeah? We were coming down into the heart. As you bring your thoughts into the heart, that's when they start becoming feelings. Something Infinity was asking as well. Desires. Yeah, desires and emotions. Okay, so desires and emotions, I'm going to go into that in a moment. Yeah, I talked about identity, but I didn't talk about the desires and emotions, Infinity. So I'm gonna cover that now. So thought becomes a feeling. We did this also in the video Life Cycle of a Thought on the Course on the Mind. We have a thought, the thought becomes a feeling becomes an emotional reaction generally, and then we have a desire, and out of the desire we act upon the world, and that act is going to be karmic and it's going to come back to us. So we did this little circle with karma. The dharmic was that we also let it come down. We have a thought and we let it become a feeling, and it become an emotion, and it become a desire, and then we empower those thoughts that are dharmic with our desire to act upon them, and we go into the world with a response, not with a reaction. Then that response is dharmic, and that's going to calm down the waters, let's say. I just did like 1 minute of something we did in a whole video, so if you want to go in more in depth of the role that desires and emotions and wishes and all that plays in what happens with our thoughts, then I recommend watching that video. For today, what I will mention is that we let the thought come down into the heart. The heart is the consciousness, the heart is the trust, the heart is the commitment, the one is the soul. Now, number one, we don't really know where the soul lives. If it had to live somewhere, it would probably live inside the heart, right? If we had to place the soul somewhere. But when we are saying that we go down into the heart, is also about going down into the one, which will go back. We will go down into the first chakra even. What does this mean? What does this going into the first chakra mean? You know, when you're speaking to someone and you're having a conversation about, let's take this vegetarianism, yeah? Or we can do the cigarettes as well. We can do the same. And they are telling you, well, you know, I stopped smoking and I feel so much better. I can breathe deeper. I have more energy. And they are telling you the benefits that they felt they have experienced. No? Or somebody is like, well, you know, vegetarian is not so difficult. At the beginning, it takes a little bit of learning, but actually I also feel more clean. And when I meditate, my mind is more clear. And so they are talking about this. We're talking. And at some point, it's like, enough, right? Somebody like hitting the ground, you know, and say, enough, no more. I'm done. I'm done with the cigarettes. I want no more cigarettes in my life, right? You reach to the point when you have exhausted it. You are exhausted in literal meaning as well. You are exhausted of being always with that issue that you know you want to do it, you know it's going to be better, your life is going to improve, and you're tired of deciding, am I going to do it, am I not going to do it, am I going to do it? Oh, so much energy. Stop it. Enough, right? It's like finished. Se acabó in Spanish, right? Se acabó. So that's the one. That's a sign that is like, we in Spanish we also call it tocar fondo, when you go to the deep end of the pool, when you touch the bottom of the pool. And sometimes it's like this, you are sinking. Only when you get to the bottom you can push yourself forward and out. So it's like you are going with the idea, and again, and thinking, maybe even saying it, yeah, I will stop, but you never do it. Well, at some point, you have to reach to the one point. You have to reach to the one. At some point, you have to come down to the one. And you will recognize this because there is this feeling of enough, exhausted, no more, out of my life forever. I will never want to be here again. And there is an absolute conviction to that. It's not just, I want to improve my life, but it's like, this is totally unreasonable for who I am. I don't want this part of my life out forever. So there is like an absolute there. There's a radical behavior in a way. There is a zero, like a all or nothing, out. Yes? This is like, in a way, we are coming to the one, but what we are doing is we're reaching the 10, 1 and 0, yeah, all or nothing. And some people are very extreme in their lives in general, and we always talk about the middle path and not being extremes. But you know what? When you have to do a commitment to break one of these habits, you have to be extremely radical with them sometimes. You have to be like, that's it. This is it. This is the day. It's finished. I know it. And then if that one crystallizes enough, if you feel the strength enough, that foundation, that's the foundation from which to build what's coming from. I don't think that sentence made any sense. That's the foundation. Yeah, when you reach to that spot, that point of enough, that's the foundation where you build what's coming from now, what's coming after. So it's like you get to that point, and then, okay, so what do I have to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. And then you are like moving forward from here. So this is getting down to the one. Enough. Yes? This is like hitting the table, yeah? Enough. Finished, yeah? Sometimes we do that with a fist, with symbol of the one, yeah? Finished, enough. And now, gathered to two is second chakra is sexual energy, but it's not just sexual energy, it's not just sexual passion, but it's passion. So, gather your passion and go into action with that. Manifest it. So you find the enough, you find the point of enough, you crystallize it enough, you strengthen it enough, you grab it with your hand, and then from that you move forward into action. This is the impulse into action. So you would see it like this. Yeah, it's going into the third chakra, more or less. I put it a little bit higher, but it doesn't matter. Into the action. So we have the idea. We are cleansing it. Sometimes this cleansing, this is 2 and 8 is the number of energy I mentioned. It's also the number of time. So sometimes we have to give it energy and we have to give it time. That's why I don't try to get anybody to that enough point. I'm here. It would be very easy for me to now take ABC Lyrics who wants to stop smoking and to try to, build him up come on, this is it, it's enough, you don't want it anymore. It would be very easy to do, but that's not my job to do that. And it could be me building him up or her up. Sorry, IBC, I don't know your what. I don't want to assume anything. I don't know why I imagine you as a man. It doesn't matter. So it would be very easy for me to be building IBC up to do it, but would it be real? And would it not be real? And would it be real enough that it can be self-sustaining, that they can sustain for themselves afterwards? So we don't know. That's why sometimes it just takes time and energy. And so that's when I said, well, if you tell me that you are ready to do it, then I'll say, Wahuru. If you tell me you are not ready to do it, or you are ready only to go slowly, I'll say, Wahuru. And it's fine. And nothing is right, nothing is wrong, because sometimes we need that time. Sometimes we need that time to clear out everything that is karmic about it, to finally be able to let it pass through my thinking. And if it's going to pass through the thinking, remember, we're going to put the 7 behind. And that in a way has to be, remember, the 7 is the thoughts, the beliefs, the values. So as it's coming down, if what you decide to do does go against your beliefs or your values, it's not going to work. So you're going to have to readjust your beliefs or your values, or readjust what you are planning to do. You know, like if you want to be a vegetarian, why? Is it aligned with your beliefs, with your values? Is it something about the morality of it? Is it something that I need to adjust myself? Well, then as you are giving it enough energy and time and you're going around it, then your mind may be ready to get back. And as the mind gets back, the intuition is that this is the right, this is the 6, this is the right moment. Then you come down into your heart. You speak to somebody, you speak to someone, you say, this is the 5. You speak to somebody, but that you're going to do it, and then you let it come into your heart. And as it comes into your heart, this is important, you need to breathe it, give it breath. This is something we listen to as well when somebody's telling us they want to do something. Are they putting their breath into it? Are they speaking and they are breathing? Is the words having air? Do they have air? That would be the 4 and the 6. 4 and 6 is air. 1 and 9 is earth. 2 and 8 is water. 3 and 7 fire. 4 and 6 is air. And is there air in their speech? Is there air in the ideas? Hopefully you can follow what I'm saying. And if so, then that's going to be much more likely to succeed, because I'm breathing it, I'm feeling it. So thought becomes a feeling becomes an emotion becomes a desire. Now I want to do it. This desire is on the level of the 2nd chakra. And I'm going to be passionate about changing it, It's coming down, but if it touches the 1, if it doesn't touch the 1, it will just go into the 3 and it will become an action. And then I don't know if it will be self-sustaining or not. But if you come down into the 1 and you touch the 1, the enough, that's when you find the impulse. This is the foundation where you will impulse yourself. You will push yourself into action with the desire and with the passion that you encountered as you were descending here. The 2. So this action, I should use a different color for the action because it's more like the 3rd chakra, the 3, the action. That's it. How does it look? Infinity says, where would you place environment as well? Because it also plays a big role in influencing each of these numbers. Yes, well, environment is important in 2 ways, I believe. Maybe more. At least 2 for the moment, I think. One of them is, as you are giving it time and energy to the idea as it's descending. When we have an idea, we need to check that it's, I don't know if I would to go into all that, but let me just say, when we are checking whether a change that we want to do in our life is dharmic or not, so when we are checking the karma or the dharma, the daimon or the demon, we need to check a few things. One of them is, if I do this, is my life going to improve or not? Am I going to feel better? Am I going to feel happier, more close to myself, let's say? So, because not all actions that we want to do may be aligned with that. So that's one thing. Another is, what is stopping me? Is it just me, myself? Or is there something in around me that is stopping me from doing this? And if so, I need to check, am I ready to go beyond that? Or is it gonna be continually blocking me? So that's another thing. Another thing is the ecology. And this is where maybe the idea of what you are saying, infinity, comes. Because if I do this change, is it just going to affect me, or is it going to affect also my environment? And very often it affects the environment. Like if you decide, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. every day and start chanting mantras. Well, that's a lovely idea. It's actually very beautiful. But do you have a family? Do you have neighbors? How loud are you going to chant? You're going to feel great, but how about the others, right? So we have to check that as well. It's a silly example, but there's many examples like this when you want to do a change, and that change is not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your family, your relationships, the friends around you, the company, in your work. If you want to be a vegetarian, but you cook for your family, and you have 2 kids and a wife or a husband, and well, are they willing to go with it? Is that going to put stress in the family? For sure, it's going to put stress. So you have to check, how is the environment going to be? And then the other side, I said there is at least 2 levels in which the environment was affecting. The other side is, maybe the whole environment is going to fight against me changing. Even so, am I still willing to change that or not? Because you may be in, for example, the vegetarian thing in the family. You live with your parents and your mother likes to cook, but you want to be a vegetarian now, and she's going to feel like you don't accept her food. And that's going to put you into tension with her. But still, you may decide, well, I'm going to cook for myself and I'm going to share the space with them, but I'm going to still be taking care of what I need, and I need to change this in my life. Well, some changes we can just, in spite of the environment, decide that we are going to do it anyway. Or we may need to negotiate. We will see. That's also a possibility. But sometimes it's like that. It's like non-negotiable. Okay, the work I have, everybody smokes around me. But it's non-negotiable. I am not going to smoke anymore. And it's going to be challenging because the environment I am is going to be very difficult. And maybe this will end up in me changing jobs. Maybe. But for me, that's not a question of whether am I going to change this aspect or not. So we have to check, where is it coming from? And also, as we come down here, what's the ecology of the decision? So yeah, very good, very important, Infinity. Thank you for telling us about that. Well explained. Thank you, John. I hope it was useful. There was something about ideas. When we want to do changes in our life, they have to be smart. Do you know about this? I don't know if I will remember what every letter is. Have you heard of this? Smart changes? Actionable? How is that? I don't remember the different ones. But I think the way I would normally say it is, if you're going to change something, make it something that you have to that you can measure. That's probably the M, the measurable, yeah? So you say, well, I'm gonna be happier. I'm gonna, let's say, be more forgiving. That's a lovely idea, but how do you measure that? How do you tell whether you are being more forgiving at the end of the year? Have you accomplished what you wanted to do? Well, that's gonna be difficult to measure. But if you say, I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week, that's very clearly defined. If I wanna stop smoking, that's very clearly defined. I wanna be a vegetarian, that's very clearly defined. If you just, I wanna smile more, that's gonna be hard to define. So having a measurable result that you can check after a while and see if you did it, that's gonna be very important. Also to the feeling of satisfaction that you are doing it and building up your commitment and knowing that you commit to something and you actually do it, which is gonna build you up as well. So having that measurable aspect, that I find that very important. So when you figure out what is the thing that you want to change, check whether it's something measurable or not, and then do it for 90 days or 100 days non-stop every day without stopping. If you stop one day, you have to start again. So whatever the commitment is, just carrying on. So that's one of the aspects that's very important. The measurable one is, does it depend just on myself or depends on others? The ideal is that it's something that only depends on you. Nobody can stop you from not smoking, let's say. So that's something that is depending on myself. That's something that I can measure. That's something that is gonna not interfere with the environment. So the ecology of the idea is not gonna damage those around me. It's gonna be only beneficial for everybody. Or am I gonna have to negotiate? That's another thing. And there was a few more. I don't remember this smart. I remember reading it somewhere. Maybe somebody knows. Let me check. 1 second. We can talk about it. Yeah, specific, measurable, achievable. Let me write it down. Relevant and time-bound. This is called the SMART goals. Yeah, I remember reading about this some time ago. In yoga, we have something similar. We don't use this acronym, but I think it's useful to remember it. So, yes, something specific, something that we can measure, that we can achieve. Don't make it so big that it's impossible to get immediately when you're not ready, like saying, I'm going to be a vegetarian, and you don't even know how to do a vegetarian diet. Then, you stop eating meat, and then you feel bad because your body is not taking the nutrients that it needs. For example, make it relevant, so having some significant impact in your life, and time-bound. So say to yourself, I'm going to do 90 days, non-stop, every day. Or also time-bound can mean to put yourself a date. Look, I'm not ready to do it right now, but I'm going to get ready for that. This is something I would do a lot, which is for many years I had lists of things that I wanted to change, and I would do like the 5 top of the lists, and I would say, well, every year I would choose one, and I had a whole year to work on that one. So the idea is that if you, let's say, want to start eating vegetarian food and you want to stop smoking, that's 2 things that you want to change. That's a lot. So that's going to have a lot of stress in your life. Let me just read the comment first. It's both ways, because also environment might be the cause of change. For example, my dad stopped smoking once he had kids, so he was forced to stop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it goes both ways. So something that I would do often is take the list and say, choose one, do 1 year. Now, if you try to change 2 things at once, look, your identity is linked to the action, is linked to that thing that you are doing, to the habit. So if you try to change too many things at once, you're going to have an identity crisis, because it's linked to your identity. So it's not recommended to do too much at once. So in yoga, I would recommend take one thing and then don't feel bad about the other. So if you are choosing, well, for now I'm going to stop smoking, and you want to be a vegetarian also, maybe you want to go for nice walks in the nature and whatever other things. Okay, that's great, but don't feel guilty about those because you are working on the smoking right now. And that's incredibly important. And if you can imagine, if I spend like a whole year working on this one, and by in 1 year time, I feel that I have accomplished it, what I wanted, and I feel stable enough to the next one. If you look at the list of the things you want to change in your life, in 5 years, the 5 biggest things in your life could be done. But if you try to change the 5 of them at once, it's very possible that a few months down the line or a year down the line, something will happen in life, and the stress will be so high, and we will regress to the old us. So we don't want to regress to the old. So that if you do it gradually, that will be healthier in that way. That's why also, stopping smoking gradually or stopping smoking at once is similar. It's a similar concept. Am I ready to do it or not? So something that I would do as well, and maybe useful, so I'll share it. I would, this time-bound concept that I mentioned, is not just how much time you're going to do it, but when are you going to start? Sometimes what I would do is, these years ago when I was doing this list, and I was like, okay, this next element, what am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to start on my birthday. Then you start on your birthday, and then you have to do, the first 40 days are the most important, then is the 90, then is 120 days. But if one day you stop, you have to start again from zero. You cannot stop. It has to be continuously, every day, whatever change you are doing. So if I'm going to do changes in my life on my birthday, if I'm on day 36 and I feel the temptation to stop, one idea is going to be, oh, come on, if you stop, you're going to have to wait until next year's birthday to start again. I don't want to do that because I committed to starting on my birthday. Or it can be the first day of the year, typical. That's very common. Yeah, many people do the lists of things for the new year. Well, let's make a list of things for life, and let's take it slowly, one per year, for example, and then measure, when am I going to start? Okay, that day. Then you put it in the calendar, you put it in red, you put it in the iPhone or your mobile phone, whatever, you mark it, and then that's the day that it starts. Now you are committed to it. If you want to stop someday, you're going to say, well, I don't want to wait a year. So that's something that is going to give you energy to carry on. Yeah, strength, commitment. Another thing that helps with environment that we were talking about is getting the environment to agree with you. So you can have a circle of friends and say, how many of them want to do the same change as you? I was giving the example of being vegetarian. So there's 3 of them who are also interested in exploring that. Well, let's do it together. That's going to give self-support. We're going to be supporting each other, and we're going to check on each other and see how is it going for you, how is it going for me, and we can more easily do things that are also with others than when we do things for ourselves. So something that I would commonly do as well when I was teaching regular classes is, okay, today I'm going to start a 40-day meditation. And if anybody wants to do it with me, you are welcome to do it. We are going to practice it 2 days in class. And from today onwards, I'm going to do it for 40 days. So if anybody wants, you can do it as well. And then, 2 weeks later, some student will say, oh, how is the meditation going? And they would tell me how it's going for them. And I know that they are doing with me in a way. So even though I'm sitting alone in my house doing it, I know they are with me. And that would be really, really incredibly powerful, that you are gathering this energy from the group. So that's another way in which the environment affects, not negatively, but actually positively to you. So there you go. That's a whole system on how to make changes in habits. And then something else as well, 2 more things. Oh dear, there's so many things connected. One is, some of the things that we remove in life are more powerful than the things that we add in life. So, for example, stopping smoking can be much more powerful than have a fresh orange juice every morning, for example. The things that we stop sometimes have more power than the things that we add. So that's one concept that's very important. At the same time, if we are stopping something, make sure you put something in its stead. Because the universe doesn't like the void. And if you leave an empty void in your life, then what's going to come in? So if you're going to stop smoking, what is going to be in its place? When you are, I don't know when you smoke. I don't know if you're still around, but if you are connected to ABC, and think about which kind of situations cause you to want to smoke. Maybe, is it social? Is it after lunch? Is it when I'm thinking? Is it when I'm whatever? And think, what can I do instead of smoking that is going to be soul promoting? So, soul promoting. Look, when you get to the one, I did this with the other pen. Is it going to be soul promoting or soul demoting? So if it comes from the monster, it will be demoting. If it comes from the master, it will be promoting. So the idea is, can I get to here? Can I get to the soul promoting? So then the moment that I stop smoking and the things that would trigger my desire to smoke, my addiction to smoke, whatever are the triggers, can I utilize them to trigger me into doing a different action that is soul promoting? Maybe doing some pranayama or some stretches. Yeah, stretch a little bit. The cats are always stretching. When you see them moving around the house, always stretching. It's wonderful. We don't do it. We are feeling tense right now. Just right now, if you can, notice your body. Which part of the body feels stress, feels too much tightness, and just stretch it. Why don't we do it more often, right? So can I just pick up the habit every time I feel the will to smoke? Can I get upside down on my hands, do a headstand? Can I do a few flexes? Can I do something that is soul promoting, and it's not gonna trigger the addiction behavior? So hopefully that's useful. It's not just about stopping habits, but it's about what you choose to put in its place. Even though, the origin of the video was not so much about stopping habits and stopping addictions, but in a way it's very, very much connected. What something we want to do and manifesting it, connecting it to stopping addictions. That's it for me. I think it feels complete, the topic, very interesting. I'd like to say we are very close to finishing number 7. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to do a special session on death on the day 28th, in 2 weeks. So Tuesday in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to do a special session. If anybody's interested, I recommend you to be there. We're going to have a serious conversation on what comes after life. I have a feeling it's the time to talk about this. In many videos, sometimes the topic comes and I say, well, I'll do some other video about it. And then we leave it for another day. So we will cover into that. Until then, if you haven't clicked the like of the video, if you enjoyed it, if it was useful to you, please click. Excellent. Satnam, Waheguru, Sandan, Sohail, and Joan, and Infinity, and ABC, and everybody who is commenting, and everybody who was watching this video, and everybody who is supporting the channel as well. I appreciate your support. Every member, if you wish to sign in to be a member of the channel, you can also give me some extra support. But as usual, the most important is that you share it with others. You let them know there is these videos here, and if they can find them useful, then that's a nice service to do. Until next time, Sadam.